1 a.m. here in Liverpool, England, on the 7th month, 6th day, 2025. I'm going to double check my mic settings just in case. Yes, it is a little low. Right, we should be good to go. I'll take that down just Nets cock there, 81, 82, that'll do. Right, we had some really wicked geostorm come through over the Bateman's Bay area, and Huskisson here just had a really nasty batch come by. And the storms are going to continue throughout some of the night tonight. Excuse me a minute. It is a really swasticular look to it at one point. Yeah, look at this is 1 hour's feed, and I go back to 6 hours. You see some pulsations going on down here in the corner, as they're not fully showing you what that particular radar is collecting data-wise. Yeah, there's a lot of hiding what goes on, because they want you to believe there's a global warming issue. That's a bit fast. Slow down, says the turtle. Yeah, it's a very swasticular storm. At one point, she was an actual. You could draw a swastika from this thing. See it? And that'll have an effect on winds to get this whole thing rotating a bit. And as it ran into a barrier of EMF off your coastline here, it turned the storm to rotate sideways in the air, like a long tube of rotating air. And it's what that just went out from the Gong and over Norway and all that. It just came through here about 42 minutes ago. Right, this is a nasty piece of work that's been done. So I'm going to go over some of the chem that it took to do this, and then I want to have a look at this particular radar feed here of this Texas tornadoes and the floods that they had, and I want to talk about what was the radar and what made these vortices here that spun off. And I'm going to teach you about the move about wind farms, and I'll show you what's a radar spiking and what isn't. And some of this is done with Nexrad, and some of this is done with wind farms. You have a Nexrad station down here. I might as well go into, you'll see it marked plain as day in a second. It's right here where my arrow is. There's a station here. And these boiling things you see are actually being fueled by wind farms. They can turn one into a propeller blade, like a fan, by putting electricity to it. So I'd be very curious about what the line of wind farms along a couple highways through here have been doing. Was one pushing this way while one pushed that way, while the radar swept in the stuff from the Gulf of Mexico in just the right way? Then that would be a Nexrad burst here. This is also a Nexrad burst from this station over here. I might as well go over this while I mod it up. See this one down here? I believe that's New Orleans. Right here is frying up in this direction, pinning the storm. So it stayed rotating in this one direction over the Free Republic of Texas. It's not a state. It can mint its own coin, by the way. And so these three stations in here were quite active. This one was also spiking this direction and north. As if I look over here, you'll see the spikes. And this one here, it just put a hot zone down, so the flow had to come here. It was the path of least resistance. Did you see how that vaporized this beam that shot out here, vaporized this cloud? They didn't want that mixing yet because the damage had to be done here. It had to continue the vortices here, and a lot of this is done with wind farms. Billy Hayes taught me about that. Yeah, the godfather of HARP, the guy that installed even the original one in Alaska, taught me about this stuff. Because I used to debate image like that. You can see another radar here. It comes in this direction here like this. I could do a frame by frame of this. You see this one here firing up? Again, that's a flow boundary, a path of resistance. It's like putting up cardboard to make pigs run into a pen. If you pen them up, they'll run right through it, even though it's not a solid barrier. See that there? It's a path of resistance, big scalar squares, and that fired in that direction. This thing killed people. It did. And this is quite a radar feed I'm using here. This is the COD. I can go to the regionals and this and sub-regionals and you see different sections of Texas. And what I did was pick the center. You know, I can come down here, we can get more of a view of that, but this evening New Orleans was active. But I came up here and clicked the center of the state. If I come up here more toward Oklahoma, you very well see another line. And this is where I learned about the wind farms, is from this feed here and looking towards Oklahoma. And there's a line where you got 7 of them, and then you've got 5 of them, and they're about 1.5 to 3 miles apart. And it's a very calculated way of controlling wind across the Great Plains. You see, these are all beam in that direction, controlling a flow boundary through here, right? This one here is full on, absolutely full on. You can't tell me that's a spark gap. It's long, it's sustained. Now watch the split in the flow here. Wind farm turns on. You see that big poof that came out? Watch. I'll go to rewind this a bit and get you right on up to it. Let's just go through this. That seems to be the moment to do it. He's always now. Because if we don't talk about what's going on with honesty, I don't know anything else to do to fix what's going on other than talking about things. So let's go right back up here and watch some of what's going on in Oklahoma. Because it's rushing towards Texas Panhandle, and this is the Panhandle here, right? This is also called the Panhandle of Oklahoma. Yeah, this is where the Panhandles meet. You see that radar full on, spiking? It is just off frame because of the regional I have it on. Now it's going to start jumping 1 frame at a time. You see these dips here? If we could put a road map up here, you'll notice something. Now this radar here is aimed up, right? It's hitting this straight line, and this storm is caused by this. This one here is spiking out. This station here is spiking up, over, and around. And the corridor of flow is being allowed from its south through here. So they can direct Gulf moisture where and how they want it. From way down here where, well, if the map continued, it was where I showed you earlier where New Orleans had done a direction of flow. This is a multi-state attack. It took many states to violate the state right of the Republic of Texas, because Texas is not a state. Yes, there's special rules for Texas, and this one's spiking big. That direction's got a wedge, that's got a wedge, that's got a wedge. They're giving the wedgie to this guy. That's frame, let's go a couple more frames up. Yeah, I frame by frame this. It took me a few hours this morning, so if I didn't reply to everybody's messages promptly or everything, I had some sussing to do. Because how do you explain this to people that don't fully understand about EMF perturbations? I have to ask that. I don't say dumb down, because you're not dumb. You could speak. Look at how that just stays in one place over here. This storm here. I would suspect you got some power plants with hoses suspended from towers, perhaps. Surface air coolers. Look at that. Look at this line. How this EMF splits the flow. And then the wind farms will move it. You had 2 stations here also reacting. Watch what happens when this comes into this fan of energy that's been put down from 2 pulsating stations. Interference wave patterns increases the peaks and troughs. So when you start multiplying the effect of more than one device, you'll get a more of a efficient wattage usage, so to speak. Yes, wattage, not wattles. This is going this way, this is going that way. Lots of different flows that don't make sense, but they're being forced. Everything should be sliding up and in, and this is coming down on top of it. From the cold air pocket that was generated by HAARP about 4 days ago when they started saying Texas is going to have a big problem. And I counted down the days from 5 HAARP blasts that went across the entire top of the world and left a corridor of flow down through the Yukon. Yeah, well, I watch EMF for a long time, and I can see what it does. And this one was a killer, an absolute killer. And it's a total setup, and it doesn't just involve Nexrad radar. Geoengineering is a multi-prong attack. Let's see if we can catch a couple other images. And while I'm doing this, I'll double check that we're running. Yes, we are. And how you doing, Lynn? Coming. Hello to you as well. Yeah, let's go a little closer in. Now I'm going to go down to the dual, and I'm going to go mesoscale, localized sectors, and I'm really going to tone in on the disaster area now. Now we're going to go closer in. All right, this is where we were earlier. You see the spikes that pin the flow? You can't get past it. It's like sticking your hand down in the water. You're going to create an eddy, aren't you? So what did you just see? If this was the top of a river and it was flowing and you see this going on, What is these like fingers in the water doing? It's coming from a radar station over here to the west. I mean the east of this. This is pinned. It's pinned with Nexrad and now fueled with chem and wind farms. Yes, wind farms. They can be impellers like a fan, or they can be turned by the wind and generate electricity. If these things are so efficient, how come our bills are so high? Exactly. They're a geoengineering movement. Boy, do they leak a lot of oil and use a lot of oil. Just as lube. And when they leak, they catch on fire and they poison the land. The land. Everybody's supposed to care about the land so much, act like it. Now let's go see what was going on over here. We had a lot of spiking going on. So let's see what this Nexrad here was doing in Louisiana. I'm going to go 200 frames down here. Check. Hit go. And load. Now let's have a look at this. See what's going on. And then I'll continue to forecast because that what I put up earlier in about a 2-minute video is accurate enough to keep you guys safe. I'm going to show you how they build those storms. So it looks like Houston is spiking the entire Gulf to keep flow going toward Mexico. It looks like New Orleans is very busy controlling the flow to this direction, and it looks like Alabama's firing from Atlanta all the way over, sealed off the face all the way from here. Look at this big pulse of chembam go through right here on the corner of the state here. You'll see its percussion ring go out. And it looks different than a wind farm. It was really confusing me. It's a wind farm line. It started down here. Pow. There was a pulse. Bzzz, getting fried, American style. Getting fried, till people died. Happy 4th of July, are you feeling real free? Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Don't be blue pill blind. Follow your heart will know the truth. Follow what the television said, and you will follow a world of sales and lies. And boy, was this storm killed some people. Boy, was it some nasties. So I look over here on Worldview in the third, some of the setup for some of the storms over here. There's Waco, by the way, in case you wonder Waco, Texas is. Hello, Texas. How you doing today? The Republic of Texas. Jose, can you see San Antonio? No, it got smashed. So this entire area under this huge scalar square here was well set up on the third. And the last image I have is the 4th, it should actually be the 6th. The 5th of July is disaster day. You see this inflow here? Look at the storm seasons over here near Allende, Nuevo Laredo for you, Alfredo. Let's see if we can pick any signs of these beams and perturbations. They were spiking that day toward that way, and that way. 200 frames gives me over a day's worth of data, by the way. So we're very fortunate to have that 100 frames forever. As I see that scalar square there. Again, some of this Nexrad are definitely putting up a barrier of flow. That's more evidence of a flow barrier here in the edge right here. Bzzz, the fryer is out in ozone. I'm not worried about the ozone layer, which repairs itself quite often. It has a cycle. But we're lied to about it. We're only showed a problem with it when it's big. And when it seals back up, NASA goes, sorry, we were wrong, but not in big letters. Go look that up. Ozone hole repairs itself. And we got a nice noisy construction outside. Hey, Corpus Christi, how you doing there? Creating any corpuses in the Christi? Corpus Christi International Horizon. Fucking hell. Happy 4th of July. Hey, look, wait, North Carolina, get ready. You see this here, the big wazoo. 1, 2, 3 big dumps there, big scalar square off the coast. This would be like Myrtle Beach and Charleston, Wilmington, North Carolina. Bzz, Charleston's fried like hell. Look at that there, North Charleston. Cooper River Bridge, what a shame, what a shame. How my mountains looking? Oh man, the Great Smokies have been choked out. This is like the Shenandoah River. It's all around here. This Shenandoah Valley. Here, Potomac. Here. And this is where they're supposed to say, oh, everything good's going to go on up here. Oh, yes, trust us, it's Washington. As we look at choked out New York, chemtrailed up Atlantic, bombed here, bombed there, Tom's River. Oh, we're all being Uncle Tom on this one, folks. Oh, my, we didn't look very demonic. That does not look like a friendly, puffy cloud. It looks like the Lorax, doesn't it? Come on, got the big whiskers, the eyebrows. Come on. Use your imaginarium a bit. Have a life. Because this is sad to see. Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod, Plum Island. New Sheridans. Everything to see here, folks. Everything to see here. Because I lived along this shoreline here. Shit used to wash up on shore. Unexplainable creatures that were washing up on shore. And our parents acted like it wasn't a big deal. It's just Plum Island, they would say. But so matter-of-factly, the truth is in our face. They drew a big penis in the sky off here. That's not a 4th of July firework, even though it kind of looks like what one would look like when it goes off. Boom, boom, plumes, man. Boom, 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 plumes, boom, boom. Oh, my, look at Nova Scotia over here getting Scotia. Nova Scotia. My God, look at the fryer here, huh? Bzz. Nothing going on here. There's no ship where I'm pointing. Pulsating out in all directions. Ahem. 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 Yeah, some very bad totals coming to North Carolina. It's not a hurricane or anything. Yeah, but it's definitely a man-made bombo cyclone. The first time I ever heard those terms was the United States. Yep. Yep. Bomb cyclone over the center of the United States. I called him a chemicane. Or a Lando-cane, where you can reproduce the conditions of warm ocean waters and cooler air on top, right? You can do that by getting this down low on the ground and make it the right temperature. It would feed the upper level just like it was warm ocean water. Right. That's just how that works. Little zigzaggies here. The step move. See it? See, where's the flow going to go? See the steps? I'll teach you guys how to read the clouds the best I can. You see that down there, that salt patch? That look like a penguin in there. Yeah. It's an imaginarium creature. Skies. Look at this shit off the coast of Kakaka over here. Let me have to confront this squarely, don't you say? The reflection of the air. We have even blowed out the clouds here and made a cloud there. So that's telling me she's a leading signal. Ooh, come on much. Hi, have this settle out on your winter beats. Yeah, here comes some more snow. You can see that coming. This will be like snows in the passes here. Over Lake Coleridge, Springfield. The Simpsons. Blocking the sun, Monty Birds. Excellent, don't they? Oh, they didn't tell us nothing. Golly, you get fried. Fried. Here they come on a run with a cameraman runs. Yep, skyria. Is a real problem over here in the Yorkie Peninsula. Wow, the burnt hills of Red Hill. The gold mining areas that they want so badly up here. Yeah, they'll be playing the Disco Inferno over there, so that big vag out here in the Gulf of Saint Vagina. Look at this crap. You told me that's natural fog. I told you you're full of shit. That thing looking like y'all got a kid with drawer as a house. My God. The devil. Look like the Aztec sitting in the chair talking to a face. As an entity has showed up here. This is going to be a bed storm. Yep. We have been entitized. They have been playing with multidimensional fabric known as aether. When you manipulate enough EMF or point certain devices in certain areas, you might have a result. That's what I'm seeing there. What a shame. It's a spiritual war. If you ain't figured that out yet, go to church and actually take on board the messages and then go act like it. And sin no more, it says. Isn't here coming next week for forgiveness for the same thing? Kuma, 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 Cambams from above. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, my, that's terrible to see. Isn't it horrendous? I guess you want the forecast part. It's good to want things. It shows you how it goes. Line after line of chemtrails. Big, huge dumps of crap along the coast again and again and again and again. And again and again. And why is this cloud different color than that cloud? Does it have different wavelength absorption capabilities or different chemicals? Because that's not what that indicates. Yep. It's like they put a head on a drawing here. They turned you into the Judas goat. It does, man. It's very devilish looking there. Man, the only thing missing is somebody behind it looking up the wazoo because there's a chemtrail coming out it's the goat's wazoo. It does. They made you look like a goat. Yeah, I'm going to screenshot that one. Yep, geosculpting. They're doing devilish things. They're doing magic circles in the sky, and I see it, and it saddens me. You believe in Jesus, but you deny the signs of the time. You believe in Buddha, but yet you enforce a caste system that says you are forever a slave. Because you see chemtrails and you tell me they're not real, but when you look up, you still see them. You're telling me this is a natural cloud and I see something unholy with X's in the center and flows of colors that shouldn't exist. It'd be like the world's biggest fireworks show every day. And there's animals out here that we're subjecting to this. We're subjecting them to EMF. We're poisoning their lives. Anything obvious here today? Yes. This effect can occur naturally if the wind was flowing in this direction, but it is not. I checked earlier. See these upper level streamers? That tells me that's not the case. So this island is beaming, and there are big devices here. I've busted some big beams coming off of here. Let's see if we can catch any this week. Yeah, leave it off the feed just a little bit. Yeah, I'm always watching. But you have to know what direction of the wind is blowing. Because these can occur naturally. Okay, notice. A ship parked in a harbor could do that. You know that too. Yeah, so let's, I'm going to go in there and show you what's going on. And I just got upset. So this is the swasticular storm of the man-made weather of the New World Order. It's selling you some golden age, fourth industrial revolution, because they know if they used the word Reich, you would be tipped off that who really won the war. And we let the object, when you want Nuremberg that let all the Nazis go, I don't want that again. And these man-made storms that came through today were very well man-made, and I'll show you the moving pictures of how they made these plumes that impacted you today. Ula Dula. Yeah, this sounds almost erotic. Hey, baby, you want a Ula Dula with me? Let's do a Ula Dula. Yeah. Oh, baby, your Ula Dula's showing. Well, let me show you what their Ula Dula did today. You see this big square farm here? We'll just start there. And this image is quite old. Okay, I was up early. Where it's moving way too fast. Whoa, slow down there, Silva. Hi-ho, the Canberra up they go. Boom, 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 plumes. Hi-ho, sky area go. Hi-ho, boom. Watch these plumes now. We'll frame by frame this. All right, I ain't done that way in a while. Hi-ho. Where do you want to go first? Because the subject out at sea does matter a bit. But making these plumes is where the geoengineering started. And they take the clouds and alter the dynamics. But I don't call it cloud seeding to be using EMF. I don't call it cloud seeding to drive chembombs from high altitude balloons and drones. This is against the spirit of the crop duster with the silver iodide that made it rain or stop. It's against the spirit of the law. Now I want you to notice this percussion ring here. Okay? It's going to have a lot to do with what pin this storm inland. You have a boom, a boom, a boom, and a line of viscosity or solidness made by different chemicals and composition of the atmosphere causes a viscosity difference. And this is used as a wiper. Now watch these 3 bombs. 1, 2, 3 go off. I'll back up. Boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom. Keep stretching out the shock wave with bombs. Yep. Then hit it with the microwaves. You see this one go off down here? Where the arrow just went? Which? Boom! Vaged it. Yep. All it takes is one boom, a boom, 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 and a plume, plume to shape the weather. All they're going to do is boom, a boom, boom, plume, and a plume, plume to shape the weather. And they made a V, which causes principles of conicity to become involved. Or like a tomahawk, if I swing this arm of this in with microwaves, that becomes what's on the end of the lever. So it hammers into the coastline, pinning the flow, causing further delays in the storm going out to sea. So it pinned it inland. It caused more disasters to happen. And it saddens me very much. And a lot of chemical catalysts have fell out tonight. A lot of people breathing that. A lot of animals breathing it. A lot of gardens copping it. I'm very curious if anybody's gotten a pH reading of the rain over here. Now let's go on and roll what they say is going to happen. And I'm going to turn this off. Because I predicted this a long time ago. And it's about time it's here so I can stop thinking about it. I'm going to bring Adelaide on. You don't have to bring New Zealand on today. You ain't got Squanto happening tonight. So enjoy the fact that that's the case. There we go. We're going to run through. This is now. Pretty much. She's going out to sea. She's going to leave behind a pretty cool night. It might bring you a little bit of soupiness in from the north because there have been some wets up here. And when this high comes, the low's coming like this, with the cold air up, while this is bringing that down. If this don't go out to sea fast, now it's going to bring another round of thunderstorms tomorrow. Yep, Adelaide looking like you get some action coming on Tuesday, which I'll cover you better for. But it's very important that we document the geoengineering and begin to understand how it occurs. How are they reproducing natural storms with unnatural conditions, man-made conditions? Because physics is physics. You do certain things to happen. There's many ways to knead a loaf of bread. Even there's many ways to destroy bread. So that we need to ask the government to be the savior when they caused a problem to begin with, to save you from. It's like when they have all the disaster supplies ready and there's a disaster. Like, where did all that aggregate come, Fitzroy Crossing, to immediately have that bridge after that disaster? Somebody planned that. An election year to make themselves look good. Yeah, geostorms is weaponry. And yeah, you got some action coming overnight hours of Wednesday in through Thursday in New Zealand that we'll be concerned about. And some more snows for the mountains so the ski resorts can enjoy for the weekend. And cold and wet for Tassie continues as winter comes on. Don't let them convince you it shouldn't be cold in wintertime. Or that it shouldn't be hot in summertime. I'm coloring a map super red. Does not sell the fact that it's only 20 degrees outside and I still need a coat. Yep. And temperature-wise, it's winter, right? The trough area, expect your cold nights to continue. And that's from like here to here. These stats are about to appear. New Zealand, cold, cold. Here come the winds. They're going to be kicking up a bit coming through the overnight hours of Monday into Tuesday. It's going to be cold at night. I'm not looking for any super hotnesses to happen except in the funk in Queensland way up north, which will be raising a bit of the risk of your thunderstorm through this corridor in central. So I'll be watching for that come midweek. Other than that, that's what's going on. It was a terrible spray day. The geoengineering was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. You know, I'm tired of showing this every day like this. Tired of describing colors to the blind that say they understand the colors and still act blind. Sometimes you just want to look up and say, you're on your own, kid. You made your bed, you lie in it. But damn if I'm going to let Mother Earth lie in a nasty bed that we're shitting. Fuck that shit. It's time to strip the sheets, man. It's time to strip the sheets because the skyarea is thick. It is up to us to clean it. Big love. Stay safe. Peace.